Hello, good morning. Happy Wednesday. We are on day who knows of quarantine. Things are starting to look up all around the US, and I'm going to do a quick check-in here. I always check to make sure that I'm seeing myself on Facebook. We're also live on YouTube if that's your jam. Let me check that I can see and hear myself, because that means you can as well. And if you can, drop a note in the comments to let me know. All right, I can see myself. And audio is working. Amazing. Thank you guys for joining. This is my fourth Facebook Live, I believe. This all started, and this just shows you what's happening during COVID, is I mentioned in a Facebook group that, or I asked, would people feel like a Facebook Live about digital marketing and talking to different nonprofits about what they're doing, how they're pivoting and adapting? Would that be of interest? And it was this incredible response. Yes, yes, yes. So I have spoken with Movember. I have spoken with Fundraise. I've spoken with Safari Pals. And today I have Lisa Bechtold, who was officially my first boss. And we'll have to talk about how that story all happened straight out of college. And she is the executive director for Take Stock in Children. And I'm also, there's so much going on with creativity with nonprofits today. Later today, I will be on Instagram Live with Dress for Success West Coast, so the Los Angeles office. And they're doing a whole series talking to female entrepreneurs and kind of inspiring and motivating stories. So it's been really interesting to see all the creativity of content coming out of this time, because we're only able to really interact digitally. Also, big announcement, you guys, I traveled last week. I got on a plane at LAX and I flew to Atlanta. Why Atlanta? That will be announced soon-ish. But I want to let you know, travel was great. Everybody had in LA, everybody had their masks on. The flight was super safe. It was really, really, really clean. Middle seats were not able to be used. And when I got to Atlanta, it was like 50-50 people with their masks on. Welcome to the South. But it was fine. You have your own hand sanitizer. I didn't feel anxious. Nobody around me made me feel anxious. So I know I had posted that on Instagram and received a ton of DMs about it. So I just wanted to bring it up a little bit. But today's guest, as I mentioned, is Lisa Bechtold. And I cannot wait for this conversation, because it has been, and I guess, Lisa, when I bring you on, 9 years since we worked together. So I'm just really excited to see everything that's gone on and how they're working so hard to really pivot and adapt with their kids in the schools during COVID-19. So without further ado, Lisa.
Hi. Hi, Dana.
Joining all the way from Sarasota, Florida.
Yes. Nice and sunny here.
I know, it's so good to see you. And I just got to see her boys, who I remember were elementary school age.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. One just claimed that he's 18, and your fiance might need to watch his back.
He's the best kids ever, you guys. And what was interesting is, and this is not one of the questions we had talked about, but I think this is really interesting. So when Lisa and I met serendipitously, it was not your typical job interview scenario. We literally met for breakfast through an introduction at First Watch.
Yeah, one of our mentors actually is who brought you to me.
Yes. And at that time, so this was 2011 for context for everybody. It was spring of 2011. And digital and social media was nothing like it is today. But even back then, you knew that marketing and digital was important. So this was not anything I prepped you to talk about, but
sure.
We met, again, serendipitous. It wasn't a job description that you had on the website. I think something now, digital still has been an afterthought for most nonprofits as far as budgeting goes and staffing goes. I mean, 9 years ago, how did you know that it was something that was important to consider?
I think when you started talking and I didn't understand the language you were speaking in, that I realized we were way outside of where we needed to be. We didn't even have a budget for a position for you. And once we started talking, and once you start thinking about how the times were changing, and there was more texting and there was more use of cell phones, I remember you saying you need to tweet, and I thought this girl crazy. Like, you know, I'm not going to tweet like a bird. But then you explained what Twitter, and that the tweet was from Twitter. I mean, I literally didn't speak your language, and the students that we're dealing with were speaking your language. And so that's when we realized that we need to, if we're going to work with these kids, and if we're going to actually make an impact and make a difference, we have to speak the same language. And, you know, and I'll tell you that I think we're right on the edge. When you came in, boy, I did a flash mob with you. You had me dance in front of lots of people, which was a blast. But, you know, just getting our name out there and seeing how social media is so important to do that. And so that really helped get us on a map. And I will say forever and ever and ever that Dana is who put Take Stock Sarasota on a map. I mean, really, you know, we can do the good work, but if people don't know what we're doing, then it only is to a small audience of people. So, you know, and I still go to you, you know, I mean, that should tell you a lot that we're still trying to keep up and make sure that we're speaking the right language.
I love that. And I think there were so many fun things that we got to do together back then. And part of it was, I remember, was it WEDU, when we created this commercial that ended up playing forever.
Way beyond what they had wanted to do. And I'll tell you, I can't even tell you how many mentors we got from that, you know, which, no offense to anyone who watches PBS, I didn't realize how many people watch PBS. So it was I get it now with my Downton Abbey and all that. But, you know, it just, the reach that small connection made is just absolutely incredible. So we knew you were going to be moving on. We didn't get to have Dana very long, but we knew she was going to move on to bigger and better. But, you know, I'm so proud to be sitting here with you and all the things that you're doing. And anyone watching, if you don't use Dana, you're crazy, because she is absolutely brilliant. She'll make you do crazy stuff too. But, you know, it really put us on the map, and I am forever grateful.
That's only because, and this is to any EDs or leaders, is you were open to the concept of trying new things.
Yeah.
And that oftentimes, which I think is interesting, and I think I said this point before in a blog post or something, but it's always interesting during COVID, there's been a lot of nonprofits who are saying, let's sit back, let's wait, let's not ask for money. And I say, you see any business saying, do not buy my product? No.
You're right.
You don't see any. And nonprofits are out there trying to help humanity.
Yep.
So where does that weigh? Right. And then a lot of times board of directors work for-profit companies, 99% of the time. And they spend 30% or more on marketing budgets and way more on operations because they want to innovate and achieve. But when a nonprofit, it's funny when they sit on a board of a nonprofit, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hold back.
Agreed.
But then how can you ever achieve more? So I think it's interesting during this time is, to your credit, was saying, no, we need to do these things. We need to try. If we don't try, then how do we know it's going to work or not?
You're 100% correct. And, you know, I will tell you that when this first happened, it was like, oh gosh, you know, do we ask for money? Do we do this? And then we're like, you know what? Yeah, our kids need us always, but now more than ever. And the population of students that we work with, Take Stock in Children, is over 25 years old. We're in the state of Florida. We work with students who are living in poverty. And essentially what we do is we go in early in middle school, and we grab these students who want that post-secondary life. And we give them a mentor who meets with them every week. We give them a college success coach who comes to their school every single month. When they graduate from high school, we've already raised 4 years of tuition for them to go to college, university, technical school, whatever they choose. When this happened, as you can see, everything we do is in person. It's at school. It is looking at them. It is, you know, and when this happened, we had to literally put our feet in the sand and pivot and say, okay, we can't stop the job that we're doing. In fact, we need to, it's a once a month touch with these college success coaches. No, it needs to be a once a week touch now, sometimes a daily touch.
Yeah.
Because for this population of students, this was one of the things that we keep talking about is this isn't a great thing for some kids to be at home. Whether it's the things we all hear about, and read about in the news, or it's that their meals are provided at school, or their parents just lost a job, or mom's working 3 jobs and there's 4 kids in the house.
Right.
And so somebody's got to make sure they're managing them as well. So, it's not easy. It's not easy. We have everything. I have connectivity and I have kids who I thought were going to be great homeschoolers. They're not. Let me put that out there for everybody. They are not good homeschoolers. With everything in place, it's tough. So, we really had to go into action, and our mentors who, I had someone say years ago that the scholarship is the gift to the family, and the mentor is the gift to the child. And our whole program is about mentors. I mean, if without our mentors, we are not as successful as we are. And so not being able to have the mentors on campus and visiting with those kids, but every single one of them is still texting, and they're calling, and they're FaceTiming, and they're emailing us. And what can we do? We had mentors who have delivered meals to the homes of these families because they know that they're struggling. We have some that don't have kids in school anymore, and they are following the school board to make sure that they're staying in touch with everything that's going on, so that these students know when exams are, when do they have to turn in their computers, when do they have to turn in their books. So, it is awful as it is. When we decided to pivot and say, okay, we still have a job to do here. And most of it is using social media and technology.
Yep.
And it's just to watch what people have done during this time. They say that true character comes out not when things are going well, but when things aren't going well.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, we have an amazing crew. From donors, Barancic Foundation gave us an emergency technology grant, which has allowed us to be able to Zoom and GoTo and Facebook Lives and all the things we need to be doing, get our website up and running so we can communicate through our website too. So, and our mentors, our board, who, like you said, our board has said, what do you need from us? Yeah, it's just been absolutely amazing. It's not easy, and it's every week we're trying to figure out something else, but getting these kids to graduate. We have 33 students who are graduating from high school and have the opportunity for a post-secondary education. And we haven't missed a beat. And that's because we have the most amazing people around us. So I love that. On that. But yeah, it's exciting. But we needed to have the technology and the social media and, all the ways to be able to reach out to these kids when we can't walk into a school and personally touch them.
I love that. So what was kind of your first step as an ED as far as communication to those different audiences and maybe you talk differently to each one, right? The board of directors, to donors, different levels of donors, to the students. How did you kind of come up with how you would do that?
Well, I'll tell you, we have an amazing operations director. And the minute this happened, the first Monday that we had our first Zoom meeting, which was pretty funny, she had a COVID relief action plan. And so we had put that in place, and we literally just stopped using it this Monday. We're back to kind of normal operations, if you will. But it was all about the students. It was about the mentors. What do we need to be doing? And you're exactly right. Everybody has to be reached in different ways. I'll tell you, we started using Instagram more. We started reaching out to our alumni. That has made such a difference in, because our high school students, our middle school students, our alumni had to come home from college, so some of those kids they still need our help too. And then the ones who are in the workforce were like, hey, how do we get a hold of you? What is the best way for us to communicate with these young people? So it's really been an all hands on deck, phone calls, emails, Remind now is, I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but we got Remind down. But, without technology and social media, we absolutely could not do what we're doing right now, and we'd be lost. So, way back in 2011, when we brought this young lady who came in and said, hey, you guys might want to think about this. I mean, it really set our path so that we could be successful in what we're doing now.
I love that. And I think the biggest thing and you've done an amazing job at this, is relationships.
Yep.
Right? Where you have the relationships and you've established them over such a long period of time that when you ask for something, people know you really need it?
You know, I was in the Brownies for 1 year and I wanted to wear the uniform. I was in second grade. I think I got kicked out because my mother, she's watching, sorry, she didn't bake the cookies. We bought them. So I think I was shunned from the Brownies in the 80s. But we did sing a song. I remember the songs. And one of them was make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other's gold. And I think with Take Stock, that has kind of been our theme. Yeah. We have people, Bonnie Harrison, who is a dear friend, who I believe I started with Take Stock August 1st of 2000. I don't know if it was a month later that Bonnie came on board as a mentor and is still tried and true mentoring, you know, sending us kids, you know. And so that's, I think we've built a family, you know, and we love the new friends. The new friends are awesome and we want to just keep adding to that family. But we do have such an amazing group of people who set the foundation for this. And we don't go to the well a lot. You know, I think we've been super careful with that. And so to your point, I think when we do ask for help, people help us because they know that, you know, we're truly trying to make a difference in the lives of these students.
Yeah, absolutely. And just recently, I know you guys had the Giving Challenge.
We did. Yes.
How has that's Sarasota also, for those of you that don't know, it has a massive nonprofit community. So every year, I don't remember when did it start when I was there?
Yeah, I think that was the first year. Yeah, I believe it was the first year.
Crazy. So 9 years later. So the Giving Challenge is the local community giving through the Sarasota Community Foundation, right?
Yeah, all the foundations actually come together. And then the Patterson Foundation does matching each year. So donations that are given, the Patterson Foundation will match. And this year it was up to $100. And, you know, in the past, we've kind of had different ways of giving. When Dana, when you were there, you know, we had certain ways that we went about it. They've changed some of the rules. It's a little different. It's 24 hours now. And what we thought was, you know, being super cognizant of what was happening in the world. We just wanted it to really be we're still here and we're trying to help these kids. So we asked for donations up to $100. And I'll tell you what, it was so neat. Even though it was 25 and 50, it meant so much, you know, it just meant so much. And again, it was back to that one is silver and the other's gold. You had the gold people coming out and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I haven't talked to that person in a while. We really need to reach out. So that was a good thing for us. But then some of the people who were new, who had never donated to Take Stock. And I don't know, it just gives you hope, you know, having that giving challenge and seeing that people were still, it didn't matter how much they gave, but that they were still giving and understanding that that was important. We had set a goal. We actually, you know, again, we were just looking for up to $100 to get that wonderful match from the Patterson Foundation. We were hoping for 10,000 and we almost got to 20. So we're thrilled. So all in all, you know, we have several scholarships that will come from this. It's super exciting. And so again, it was just one more thing where you're like, golly, this is awesome. You know, it's good character. I love that. So it was a blessing and we were honored to be part of it this year.
It's awesome. And I think people who can give are giving. I did a virtual 5K for Dressember, which is a human trafficking organization.
Yes.
And I went live on Facebook. And because I explained what I was doing, I was only trying to raise $320 because that equaled a very specific goal for them, yep. Right? Impact goal. So I was asking for 32 people to give $10. And during my 5-minute Facebook Live, as I'm walking in my workout clothes, about to do my run, 5 minutes, I raised like $150.
That's awesome.
So it's like people who they understand, they're saying, oh, this is an organization that Dana really cares about. This is specifically what it's going towards. I will 100% give to that.
Agreed. I agree with you 100%. And, you know, and even though we as a staff, you know, we have our meetings each week and we say, you know what, people may not be giving to the same level that they've always given to, and we understand that, but they're still giving. Yeah. And we know that at some point we'll be able to get back on track. But I will tell you, this is awful. And, you know, you don't want to see people losing their lives or sick or anything, but there's been some really positives, I think, that have come from us being quarantined and us having to do things different. And I think it really shows those organizations that can change and can, when something comes in and throws it your way, you're like, okay, you know what, here's what we're doing. We're going to go this way now.
Have you seen the John Krasinski YouTube video? Have you watched any?
About 1,000 times I've watched the Hamilton one that I've watched it probably 600 times. And every time I see them sing, I still get chills. So I probably need to back off of that for just a minute. But yes, I love it. I absolutely
He did a recent graduation one.
Oh, I saw with the dancing, and they had the artists that were on there performing too.
Yes, and they had well, the graduation one, they had speeches. They had Oprah come on.
Yes. Yep, I saw that. I was talking about prom. Sorry, I was
talking about prom. So these are all big moments with the kids, and I know normally, so around this time is Celebration of Hope, which is one of your biggest annual fundraising and just celebration events.
Yeah. It is, and it's several hundred people in a room together, which right now is a no-no. So we kind of knew that, again, once this all started, we started talking about ideas and what we could be doing. In fact, Dana and I are going to chat a little about some ideas. But again, people stepping up. We had Bank of America who gave duffel bags to every senior. So our crew is actually going to be delivering those, hand delivering each of the bags. Inside the bag is also a gift card from Bank of America for them for college. Wells Fargo stepped up. Any of our students who don't have a computer when they go officially to college, they will get a
live stream those drop-offs.
What is it?
You should live stream when you're delivering the bags.
That's what we're doing. So we learned how to use Dropbox. And that was Melanie did a little tutorial training. I don't know how to use Dropbox as well, but everybody else does. That's exactly what we're doing, Dana. We are actually, so it's a duffel bag, and some of the students will get, the ones who needed the computers will get the computers. They have gift cards in there. Congressman Vern Buchanan wrote a personal letter to every single one of our graduates, and then he's also going to do a shout out to them. And then we are going to be hand delivering those. We're going to be recording the delivery, and then we'll also use that, to show Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Congressman Buchanan and all the people who have put this in place so that they at least get something special. And the reason for the duffel bags, just if I may, a lot of our students, when they're moving from place to place, use a garbage bag. And I had an experience with a young man that, anytime he had clothes, he would always put them in a garbage bag. And the first thing that I bought him was a duffel bag. And to most of us, that's kind of like, meh, it's a duffel bag. To be able to have your own bag to put your stuff in is pretty important. So our staff thought that would be a pretty cool way to kick off, their next adventure in life, and at least let them have, something special. They can put everything else in garbage bag, but at least that one special bag that they are able to carry their clothes and their belongings in. So with everybody coming together, it's amazing. Yeah, super amazing.
So good. I have so many ideas in my head for you already right now.
Yay, I can't wait. Write them down. Don't forget them.
We're going to have a whole brainstorming session.
I can't wait.
I want to know, since Celebration of Hope is not happening in person, you are looking at, which we kind of talked about before, going virtual for that.
We are, yes. We want to do a virtual celebration. And what's funny is we talked about this, a month and a half ago, and we thought we had the greatest idea in the whole entire world. And then now everyone had the same great idea we did. So we're trying to think of how do we make this more special? How do we kind of kick this up a notch and make this something that they'll always remember?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, income Dana.
So many ideas.
I know I'm not doing a flash mob. I'm not dancing. Maybe, what I've been doing though, I will tell you in my spare time, some TikTok videos. So.
Oh man.
I'm getting pretty good.
Yeah. Oh wait, was that where you did the Grease one?
Oh, that was not TikTok. That was sheer boredom. Yeah, we had a Grease themed Zoom call.
I should have brought the video. Actually,
glad you didn't. Yeah, glad you didn't. Yeah, I grew up in a family of very talented musicians, and when we got bored, we did music and we put on talent shows, and so everyone was bored. We had a Grease theme for a Zoom call.
So good. So I was mad that I wasn't involved.
I told you, pick your theme, and the next one we'll do. Listen, my family's ready. And my brother dressed up in a dress, so we're ready.
I love it. I love it. Family coming together. So what is the best way, or I guess, yes, best way for people to get involved in Take Stock in Children right now? And then also, what would you say is the greatest need?
So, gosh, So we normally do our selection at this time too, which are in-person interviews, which we couldn't do. So we went to Dropbox to do all of the applications. Our board stepped up and literally went through every single application, scored them. We had a couple of donors who chipped in as well. So we are bringing on 70 new students.
Wow.
70. We're graduating 33. And we are bringing 70 new students on. As I said earlier,
Is that one of the biggest classes?
it is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be our biggest. Yeah. And what a testament with everything that's going on that we were still able, and I'll tell you, that is an amazing staff. That is an amazing board. These families who've been willing to, take all the phone calls and make sure they have all their paperwork in. We have an amazing partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. So we actually share a donor of theirs who has now sponsored students through Take Stock. So Soraya over at Boys and Girls Club, I mean, she's running the interviews over there. We've got it just, when I tell you, it's amazing. So all in all, here we are, 70 students, and we need mentors. As I mentioned before, the true gift to our students is having a mentor in their life. And so, money always, we're a nonprofit. I'd be silly to sit here and tell you we don't need money. The more money we have, the better we do. But what we really need are bodies. We need volunteers. They can be 18 years old. They can be 98 years old.
And explain a little bit about how would a mentorship within today's current climate, how would that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're trying to figure that out. We actually have, our state office has put together a mentor app that they're using and trying out. I think it's going to change. I think that mentoring will change a little bit in this, probably in the next 6 months because of just restrictions. But we are trying all kinds of different things with FaceTime, with the use of this mentor app, which is a texting tool. We have to be careful because you do want to protect the mentor and the student. So we're trying to find the best ways to do that. Zoom, I know a lot of people have learned how to use Zoom, but that face-to-face, that's important. So we actually, at our last staff meeting, that's on our list of things for our Friday discussion is what's mentoring going to look like next year, and how is that going to happen? It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We just have to figure out what that's going to look like and how to protect the student and the mentor as best as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And then where should they reach out to you or our website? What's the best way to get that?
Absolutely. So we have a website. It's takestocksarasota.org. So takestocksarasota.org.
In the caption.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
You have it? I can't even see anything. I need glasses. That's what I'm learning through Zoom and all my meetings. I'm learning that I probably need a pair of glasses. But also me, my email address is Lisa, Lisa, at takestocksarasota.org. So please, by all means. And you know what, if you're not in our area, if you're not in Sarasota County, if you're in the state of Florida, go find a Take Stock program there. If you're somewhere in this country, find a mentoring program. It changes lives. It truly does. We can talk all about, the whole thing is a wonderful program, but again and again and again, it's the mentoring that takes place, and it's that personal relationship between the student and the adult that truly makes a difference.
Yep. And this is a proof of 9 years later, I'm still talking to my first boss, you guys.
Well, and guess what? We had a Mentor of the Year, I think, award with a gentleman that was your mentor back in the day, Lim Andrews, who is a big part of Take Stock in Children. So because of our introduction and because of what we're able to do, and your alma mater, we're bringing 22 freshmen in this year from Booker High School. So that's pretty awesome. It's exciting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I loved this conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today and being here and everything you're doing in Sarasota and with your boys. You guys, Lisa is a saint and an angel in real life. So.
Oh, you're so sweet. I hide my horns. No, I'll tell you what, Dana's a rock star, and I can't even tell you. I think you're amazing. So anyone who hasn't met Dana, you need to. She's amazing.
You're the best.
Thank you for having me, Dana.
You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.
Okay. That was incredible. Lisa and the Take Stock in Children program are amazing. And this just goes to show, so last week we spoke with Movember, and they have a big staff, right? They're international. And then you have Take Stock in Children. They are across the state of Florida. I believe it's in all 67 counties. And then Lisa runs the Sarasota office with a small crew. But everybody's doing magical things right now to get stuff done. So mentorship program she talked about, you can reach out to her via email. I will add that in the comment section. And then you can also click their website up above. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, just drop them below. You can always find me at dana@positiveequation.com, and hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday.